Perry Municipal Authority to order. 6:15. Roll call, please.
Morrell.
Here.
Platt. Here. Eversole. Here. Marshall.
Here. Here.
Gilbreth. Coldarn. Johnson. Stroller.
Here. I declare a quorum, barely. Our invocation tonight will be from Russ Meacham.
Cool. Father, we thank you for this city that we live in, and we thank you for the good things that go on here. And we ask tonight, as this board meets together as a council, that they will enact rules and laws that further benefit the city and in all things glorify you. Lord, we ask that you grant them wisdom and knowledge and discernment in these actions. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Russ. Authority members, we have item number 1, the consent agenda. There's one item there.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Morrell.
Yes.
Platt. Yes. Eversole. Yes. Marshall.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Skipping down to item number 4, comments from those assembled. Seeing none, we'll move to item number 5, proclamation, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Seeing none, any new business needs to be come before the authority. Seeing none, I have a motion on
Make a
Item
motion
7.
and we adjourn. Second.
roll call, please.
Morrell.
Yes.
Platt. Yes. Eversole. Yes. Marshall.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.
I apologize for the pause. It's taken me a minute. The guy to my left usually answers first. And it's
Sold you out, didn't I?
not me. Yeah, you did.
All right, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the regular city council of City of Perry at 6:17. Roll call, please.
Morrell.
Here.
Platt. Here. Eversole. Here. Marshall.
Here.
Franklin.
Here.
Gilbreth. Coldarn. Johnson. Stroller.
Here, I declare a quorum for our meeting. Council members, you have the consent agenda before you. What would you like to do with it?
I would like to approve the consent agenda minus item A.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing item A. Roll call, please.
Morrell.
Yes.
Platt. Yes. Eversole. Yes. Marshall.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Item number 2 is items removed from the consent agenda. Brad?
Yes, so the regular meeting minutes from our last meeting, item 10 of the minutes is where we approved the ordinance for the sales tax extension. I had actually was opposed to the motion, and it has to be recorded as voting yes. All the other stuff in there about the emergency and the resolution, I voted yes, so that's correct. Just that one.
Okay, so you were opposed to the
I was
actual-
opposed to the motion.
The actual
for the
motion,
ordinance.
yes.
Okay.
That's it. Do we need a motion to approve?
Yeah,
item
we
A?
need to make the motion.
I'll make the motion to
approve.
approve item A with those changes.
Second.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Morrell.
Yes.
Moxley. Whoa. I didn't get that changed on here, sorry. Platt. Eversole. Yes. Marshall.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item number 4, comments from those assembled. Any comments about the city council? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, proclamation, commendation, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Anyone got anything they need to ask about? No? Well, I'd like to say a shout out to all the city employees that helped put together the parade this weekend. It was great. I know they worked hard, and we appreciate your team.
Thank you.
Good job arranging the weather, too.
Yes. Excellent.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day.
All right, move on to item 6, the city manager's report.
Well, let me tag on to that a little bit because it's really a team effort from people throughout the community. It's another great celebration in the books. I think it's the 126. Is that right? Does anybody know? I think it's the 126. But anyway, the chamber, the extension office, the fair board, the Cherokee Strip Riding Club. I know I'm leaving people out. The 5K people. Lots of, many volunteers and lots of organizations. And the city of Perry, they just all pull together and make this all happen. Also, it's always great to have Ken televise the parade so that people that aren't able to be here can view it or aren't able to come to the parade and can view it. And then you can also view it on YouTube later if you happen to miss it. Or if you want to watch your special person in the parade, watch them again and again, or tape it, or whatever you want to do. So anyway, and all this, a lot of work goes into it, and it didn't help any when we had the windstorm the Friday before, the week before. Lots of limbs and trees and things that ended up taking some time that we normally would have spent on the celebration, doing some things. So. Had some electric issues, had to have a planned outage, and Parish Electric helped out. And we tried, it was mainly the downtown area, and we tried to give everybody a heads up that the outage was going to be, the electric was going to be out. And usually Brian leaves himself plenty of time, when he estimates how long it's going to take. He usually tries to make it so that it's a shorter outage than a longer outage. Well, this time he was on the money. I think it was right at the 2 hours, and so he didn't leave himself much leeway that time. So I've got several items on here that I'm going to just let you all read. But the one thing I did want to mention too, that we're starting to become a bicycle community. The multiple sclerosis people will be stopping here in Perry. It's called the Bike MS, the Road Divided. It's their 30th annual bike ride, and this year it starts in Norman and ends in Stillwater, and they can go various routes. And so the Stillwater Library will be one of the locations where they'll have a little rest stop on that Saturday, or must be Sunday, I think. Anyway, it's the second day. And so there'll be lots of bicyclists coming through Perry on that day. So we have hired a person for the BMAC Sports Complex. His name's Casey Doty. He's from Arc City, and he is scheduled to start work the end of October. And I think he'll do us a fine job. He's currently overseeing a $3.3 million baseball and softball complex in Arc City, and he was there when it was built. I think it's maybe about 3 years old. So he went through the process of building it and establishing it and all that. And he, in addition to that, he has other responsibilities for facilities and programs in his current position. So he comes to us highly recommended, and I'm really looking forward to him getting started. Dixie and I will be at ONL this week, and so maybe a couple days we'll be out of the office. Just to a little show and tell, at the OMPA annual meeting, they recognized the CUP program, which is the, let me get this right, Competitive Utility Provider Program, they refer to it. And so this is the 20th anniversary for OMPA to have this program in place, and so they distributed these nice plaques to all the cities that are currently CUP cities. When they say competitive, it does mean competitive because you just don't automatically get this designation. There's a lot of work that goes into it, as Dixie and several of our folks can attest to. Yes, Autumn and Brian. So when I accepted this at the annual meeting, I said, this is for Dixie, Autumn, and Brian. So I couldn't take any credit for it. Anyway, and OMPA actually came into existence in 1981, and so there'd never really been a history. Nobody had written down the history of the OMPA, the Oklahoma Municipal Power Authority, so they commissioned a book regarding the history of the OMPA. And so this was also distributed at the annual meeting. And it goes into, actually it starts back in the 70s. It kind of talks about the years preceding up to the establishment of the OMPA. And the OMPA was actually established by the state legislature, or the Oklahoma legislature. And so it is a state agency, and they're currently serving 41 member cities. And maybe another one coming on board, maybe. So it's, cities are, this year was a really good year. I think they added 2 or 3 cities. I think it was 39, and then now it's at 41, and one more maybe coming on. So anyway, several cities are seeing the advantages of being part of the OMPA organization. And I was out last week. I just want to give a big shout out to Dixie and all the folks at City Hall and the departments. It was a busy week getting ready for the celebration, and everything just went off smashingly. And it's good to know when you can leave and it's in good hands, and people, take care of things and do everything that needs to be done. So thank you all.
I had the opportunity to have a discussion with Lori, Brenda Party's mom this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I told her we had hired someone for the ballpark, and she just lit up. It's just nice the pride that they're showing and
Oh, yeah.
having their son's name on that ballpark.
Yep, they really are.
So. All right, any questions for Mary? If not, we're going to move on to item number 7.
Sorry, it's so long.
The Chief Financial Officer's Report.
That's all right, Mary, I only got kicked 3 times in the shin over here. I don't know what Brad is going for, but just
Supposed to
leave
pass
it
it on.
at that. Yeah, I'll let you kick me next time. Not me. I've been limited by Councilman to my right for a minute and a half, so you guys are going to get an abbreviated
Give
piece.
me an extra half, maybe?
I took an extra 30 seconds because I had to
Okay.
talk about Mary. so
Okay.
I haven't really started on my time
Yeah, you're
yet.
good.
As we go. Actually, guys, good month to really not have a whole lot to talk about, which is really what you want from your financials. We want to be able to say, hey, we're on board, we're meeting our budgets, things are running in. A couple of highlights, though, that I want to hit this month. Sales tax is right at budgeted numbers. As you guys know, we talked about sales tax. We were going to budget it 10% down, hoping that things were going to play out a little better. We're not quite seeing that yet. There is some positive news, though, and Mary and I were talking about this a little earlier. If you look at our use tax, our use tax is at 23%. Most of the time, we see a lag. Once we see some excess use taxes coming in, it usually takes 6 to 9 months, and then we turn around and we'll see another little jump in our sales tax piece over where it is. So while I can't say exactly what we're going to see related to this, usually a bump in sales tax, or whenever we see use tax running this much higher, it's usually good news related to that. So we are watching that number. If you look down through the expenditures, everything is really close. On another revenue note that I want to bring your attention to is the monthly collections for hotel motel tax, about $31,000, up almost $8,000 over where we were last month. So, the word's out there, I guess, a little bit. We've finished 2 of the sales tax reviews that we do kind of annually. We've got 2 more coming up that we'll do. If we don't do them later this fall, we'll do them first thing in the spring. It just kind of keeps everybody's honest in what they're doing, and so that's nice. Whenever we see those kind of sales tax dollars, those kind of hotel motel tax dollars, we like that. At the end of the day, those end up in that economic development fund, and we spend them there. But it is good that we keep on seeing those dollars increase. Before I get kicked, looking at the PMA and our utility side, we are kind of capped out at this point on our electric side. If you'll see the 20%, yes, that's seasonality. 20-21% is usually what we run coming out of August. September's gonna slow down a little bit. By October, we'll be back to a normal, 8% increase. And we'll see that then fall down to about 6% in December and January for increases each month as you watch this number tick. But then we'll jump right back up into it as we get into the spring. So seasonality, you're gonna hear that word out of me. I like to use it quite a bit, but seasonality explains kind of why we're seeing those higher expenses and the higher revenues both at the same time there. We're right on track for what we would expect. So nothing really in the financials, no big expenditures, nothing that you guys aren't aware of or would see in there that I think would be a big issue. So I think we're good to go for hopefully a good September.
Russ, do we do the audits on all the hotels every year? How's it?
Not on all the hotels. We have them on a rotation and we run through 2 of them at a cycle. And so we'll kind of do them in 2s. And we try to do at least 2 every year. And then some years we'll get in. If we look at it and we're like, hey, this one's way out of whack for what historically it's been or for the number of, you know what I'm saying? We kind of make sometimes a judgment call and pick up another one in there and do those. But it's just kind of on a rotation to keep them looked at and know that, we're collecting money that we should. So,
Thank you.
Mary, did we ever have any luck pertaining to this right here with the thievery that we had, the vandalism we had at the cemetery?
The, our police detective, Forrest Smith, is still doing his investigation. He's talked to quite a few people. He's going to be talking with some folks that are live outside the city, and so he has to have someone from the state or the county accompany him because his jurisdiction, doesn't extend. So, so there's, some of that. So he's getting some pretty good information. And I don't know if we've announced it, but we've been talking about offering a reward. So I don't know if that's been announced or not, but if it hasn't, we'll probably, get that word out this week, so.
Sure hope we get that taken care of.
Yes, yes, but like I say, he's gotten some pretty good information and some pretty good leads.
Good.
And, I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess I would say.
We'll tell Brian and the boys good job and please stay on that.
Yeah, they are.
Anything else for the CFO? If not, we'll move on to item 8. I've been told that we're going to continue this on to our next meeting because there's some details within the payout that have not been completed.
Right,
So
we're just gonna defer this.
we'll defer it to the next meeting. Bryce, do we have to have a motion or anything on
You
this?
can motion to continue it to the next meeting.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Morrell,
Yes.
Platt. Yes. Eversole.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Item number 9, consider approval of resolution number 2015-14 of the City Council of the City of Perry of Oklahoma authorizing an application for financial assistance from the Rural Economic Action Plan, which we know as REAP Fund, for the WWTP Sludge Thickening and Conditioning Basin Project. Mary, you want to talk about this?
I can. Each year, the state legislature appropriates funds for, which they refer to as REAP funds, that are allocated to and available to cities and towns that are population 7,000 and below. And those funds are channeled through our COGS, which ours is NODA, and so NODA is the one who takes the applications and they have a review process. They rate them and then determine which ones, and the NODA board actually is the board that decides the successful applicants. I believe the limit of the REAP grant application is $100,000, is that correct? Bryce?
Actually, they have no limit, but no one's going to get one more than 100,000.
Right.
They only have slightly over $1 million.
Right. And so, so they have a rating system, and so one of the things that boosts your application up on the priority schedule if it's related to your infrastructure or economic development. And the last one that we went for was some funding for the Commercial Park Road. This one is for the wastewater treatment plant, and we do have some definite needs of the plant to address. We have a notice of violation that was received in August. That is another thing that boosts you up on the priorities. Unfortunately, if you do a really good job, you don't get that priority. But if you have a little bit of an issue, a notice of violation from the Department of Environmental Quality, then that gives you some extra points. So we do have that going for us, although it's not a serious condition that we're addressing, but it's something that we need to address, and it would be very, very helpful to have these additional funds from the REAP program if we could add it to our, what we would be able to fund it ourselves. So, Blaine did actually, Bryce wrote the grant, wrote the justification for the grant, and it's basically improper discharge of our sludge program. And so there's some things that we need to do. Our engineer, Blaine Reilly, had recommended, he'd been at the plant, talked with Steve Reddy, he's recommended that this is a project that we should do, and even without the REAP grant, it's a project that we need to do. So, so the total grant is the total project estimate is $231,000. We are applying for $99,000, which would leave our contribution at $132,000. So I believe, did we skip a cycle, a grant cycle?
Oh, I believe we did.
So if you haven't had a REAP grant in the prior year, that gives you another extra point. So, so we believe that we're in good position, but we're not the ones making the decisions. We don't have Perry does not have a representative on the NODA board, and so hopefully our documentation that goes along with our grant application, Blaine has gone into great detail and he's prepared the estimate. There's also a good, excuse me, a map that shows the sewer plant and talks about what would be included, and then also a copy of the notice of violation is included. So.
Now, I may have just overlooked it, but when I was looking at the NOV, it didn't really say anything about a timetable for when we had to have the repairs done or the fixes done. Basically what they do is you have 30 days from the receipt of the NOV to respond to the notice of violation. Right.
And in your response, what we will do is say that
we lay out the timetable.
We lay out the timetable of how we plan to address the issue that was brought up in the notice of violation.
And if for some reason that timetable isn't acceptable to them, they'll probably respond back to us or something.
Probably, but more than they're usually really good to work with cities and towns. If it was something of a more serious nature, they would probably be a little more
different. Yeah.
They might be a little less likely to give us some leeway. But on this, I think if they know you're working on it and you're working on, if you had an engineer report done and you're applying for grants, they're really pretty good about working with the cities and towns. It wasn't always that way, I would say. It was, they got a little demanding sometimes with some cities and towns, but
It's a kind of gentler.
a little bit,
DEQ.
a little bit, so anyway.
That's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
It is.
Now, I talked to you some time back, and Steve was running a test on something that kind of got us in trouble. Is this the same thing?
That was at the water plant.
Oh, so this is...
This is different. This is
okay.
something
This is
different.
sewer treatment plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, and the issue at the water plant, I think they overstepped, overreached. What they gave us the notice of violation on was a little bit I would call it silly, but that's probably
I couldn't remember
a
which
good
plant,
scientific
which plant you told me
term.
that was at.
Yeah,
I was thinking, if this all came from this silly test we were running.
yeah, no, this is something different.
All right.
Now, where does the local contributions, now where's that coming from?
From the city.
From this, but, I mean,
We
It
come
would-
from the
Yes.
sewer department.
Yeah, it would come from the
Come
sewer
from our sewer
department.
Okay.
Right. And it's not currently budgeted.
yeah,
And so if, what happens is if we make application for the REAP grant, and if we are approved for the REAP grant, then it would come back to the city council for approval and acceptance of the grant. And then at that point in time, we talk about the funding that we would
Budget amendment.
need to address and a budget amendment for that.
okay.
I'd like to make the motion to approve resolution number 2015-14.
Second.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Morrow,
Yes.
Platt. Yes. Eversole,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Item number 10, new business. Is there any new business that needs to come before the council tonight? Any new business? Seeing none. Item 11 is consider convening into executive session to discuss the purchase of a tract of property adjacent to the Perry Industrial Park pursuant to whatever TIT section, or 25 section 307B3 of the Oklahoma statutes. Also, item B, for the purpose of conferring on matters pertaining to the economic development of the city of Perry, as disclosure of this proposal would violate the confidentiality of the prospective businesses.
I'd like to make the motion to,
Bryce, did you want me to talk?
Well, no, just briefly, we haven't gotten a response back on B. So we have nothing to add on number B. And number A, we have until March 31st to make the determination. And quite frankly, we'd like to do a couple more things. We could certainly meet and talk about it, but it might be a waste of time. But we can certainly do it. We can put this on a future agenda and not miss a lick.
Seeing that we're down in numbers, I would feel more comfortable with, since we don't have anything new, talking about it at a later date.
yeah.
Second that motion.
Is that a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jen seconded it.
Can you gather from that, Dixie?
Just making sure, just making sure.
Is there any other discussion about this? All right, roll call, please.
Morrow,
Yes.
Platt. Yes. Eversole.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
No. All right.
Sure did that.
I got that down.
All right, well, we'll move to item 14 then.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Morrow,
Yes.
Platt. Yes. Eversole.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Franklin.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.